So I asked this question while my computer's loading. I want you guys to answer me this question. You can either put in the chat or just type or just unmute and tell me. So of the things you guys hate doing in your business, which ones, like what is the one or two things that you would love to never do again? You can just unmute and tell me. Can you guys hear me? You're all thinking, okay, good. I was like, oh no, they can't hear me.
I feel like there are some things that I haven't done that I don't want to do.
Okay. What are the things you haven't done that you don't want to do?
Like the whole email, everything, all of that.
Okay.
If I could have someone do my landing pages, that would be great too.
Okay.
Like Amanda, you want to do them or you want someone to do them for? Okay.
I'm good at landing pages. Like I'm really good at web design. That's what I got my master's degree in, essentially, is like engineering for that kind of stuff. So that part is easy for me. It's what Erin says, like finding the new people, posting stuff, like the DMs, just like shoot me, please.
Right.
Okay, I like it. So Amanda just signed up to do all of your landing pages, in case you missed that.
Can you make my website too? That would be awesome. While you're at it.
I can. I don't want to do that, but Harrison can.
She's like, but
I want to sign him up to do it.
Right?
Okay.
You're like, we just created a side business. I'm telling you, we should all have referral partners. And if there are people that we are,
Seriously, because the part of the problem is you don't know who to trust or who will do it right or whatever. All that jazz.
I would agree with that. What does Harrison do? He does marketing, right? My computer.
Yeah, he's the vice president of marketing for PayPal. So he does like a bunch of stuff. Yeah, he has a big team of people that works for him and all that.
I don't want to say this, but I feel like he might be outside of most of our budget.
Oh yeah. I'm not though. I'll do it. Like I'll do it for free, I guess, considering how my last launch went.
Amanda's like, I shifted gears. I became a website designer for heart-centered coaches. And you can help them with their copy. It's just your second business. It doesn't mean to be a different one. It's just going to be your second business.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, you guys, I got it to come up. All right. So we're going to talk about repurpose. We're going to talk about a couple different things that that I'm implementing and all the things. And I think a lot of you guys, some of you know my story. I hated technology. I did not want to learn any of it. And then when our building got sold for the gym, we joined a consulting firm essentially. And it was $1,000 a week for 16 weeks. So 16K, we literally had like $1,000 in the bank when we joined. So I had this, I have to learn this. I have to get this implemented. I have to turn my ads on. I have to get people in the door because I got to pay them again in 7 days. Right. So I learned a ton of stuff, probably in one of the most stressful scenarios I can imagine. I don't think I've ever worked that hard or been in that much hustle for a very long time. The good news was I learned all of it, but what I want you guys to learn is do that now before you get to the point where you have to be doing it, and learn how to make this more efficient now when you have a little more time before you have 30, 40, 100 clients. So the more we can learn of this stuff now, the better we're going to be. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? Yes. Okay. So, this is repurposed. Okay. So it's repurpose.io. There's a couple different versions. And again, I'm never going to tell you guys, hey, you got to go out and do this. You have to pay for this. You have to I'm never going to tell you any of that. But if there are things that I believe are worth the cost, in my personal opinion, for my business, I want to share them. Okay. So what this one does is we're going to walk through it, but it's basically going to take anywhere you have audio or video, and then you can put it in a whole bunch of other places. Okay. It's pretty straightforward. I'm not going to lie. There's 2 training videos that I watched and I got all my stuff hooked up. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. There's a lot of other integrations we can do to get a little more complicated, but I wanted you guys to see how this works. Okay. So the first level of this is 25, 29, somewhere in there. I think it's $25 a month, to have this version. Okay. There's I think a $100 version at this time. It's about $100. $100 version lets you do a few more things and it will transcribe it. So depending on how many other steps you want to take after that, that may or may not be worth it. Okay. I haven't paid for that yet. I probably will, but at this point I haven't. Okay. So what this does, you guys, in the way. Okay. So if you look at this, first you have workflows. Okay. But then you have connections. Okay. So if you go into connections, oh man, didn't really want it to do that. Well, look at workflows first. Why does this have to be so slow? But essentially what you're going to do is you're going to connect the things. Okay. So once you've done your connections, we'll come back to this page, but you can show it where, like how to take things and where to take them and then where to put them. So what you want to do when you open your account, you're going to go to connections. Okay. And it will show you all the places that it can connect to, and then it will connect them for you basically. Okay. So I connected my Dropbox, which can be an input or an output. I connected my personal Facebook page, which can be an input or an output. I connected my Google Drive, again, an input and output. Connected LinkedIn, which right now can only be an output, which I don't think very many of us are primarily starting our content on LinkedIn. YouTube as an output, and then Zoom as an input. Okay, so those are the ones that I have connected right now. I don't do much on Twitter. I currently don't have a podcast going. So those weren't important to me, but you can do an audio podcast as your input. So you can take your audio podcast and then make it a video in Facebook. You can do a video podcast and then turn it into an audio. You can do SoundCloud. So if you guys are doing anything on SoundCloud, you can do SoundCloud, Dropbox, YouTube, Twitter. I don't know what Libsyn is, or Binge Network, or Captivate, to be honest. I don't know what those are. Hold on, what does the chat say? Okay, dumb question. Can you explain input? Not a dumb question. Okay, so input is where it's coming from. Output is where it's going. Okay, so the input, and I'll show you this. It'll make more sense on the next page. Let me turn my volume up. I just realized it's really low here. Is that better? Can't see you guys. Okay, so let's go to workflows. So you'll connect any of those things that you want or have that are going to be necessary in your business right now. Okay, so I don't have a ton at the current moment, but I see a lot of possibility in this towards the end, or like in a later date. And I know Amanda and I were talking about her podcast. This, Amanda, I think will be a really big help for you guys. Okay, so then you're gonna go to workflows, and this is where it gets kind of fun. So now, thinking, okay, so now it's gonna say, so you can create a new workflow. We'll walk through this and see if I can make it work, even if it's something we don't have. So you click on create a new workflow. Okay, we'll name it, let's say Facebook. Oh, I didn't connect Twitter. So Facebook to, let's say YouTube. Well, that's not gonna work. What else did I have in there, you guys? Okay, this might not let it work, but it does. So we'll say example. So you're gonna select your input, okay? So let's say that I want something to come from, probably won't let me do this, Facebook Live videos, and it'll say Courtney's Facebook personal profile. Okay, so this one's already set up, so it may or may not work, but upload video and then full video, and then you hit next, and then it'll start, and then it'll ask you where do you want it to go. Okay, so maybe I want it to go to my Dropbox. We could set this up. So it's going to go to my Dropbox, and then I could choose a folder when I log, and it does it all for you. Like it logs everything in really pretty seamlessly. And again, I'm not a tech guru. So if I was like, okay, you know, here's the different files I have in here. If I just want it to go to my regular Dropbox, you know, I'll pick this. So I want it to go there, which is a really old file. I can hit choose. Choose. Okay, I don't know how Dropbox works. Anyway, we're gonna ignore that part. Stop. Cancel. Now it's gonna say, okay, stop it. Can I just close? Okay, it'll walk you through it if you want to put it somewhere specific. Okay, and then if you have a folder, playlist, whatever, you could put it there, and then you can say create the workflow. Okay, I'm gonna go to where I can see you guys. Everybody good so far? This makes some sense. Okay, sort of, kind of, and like I don't expect this training to be like it's perfect, but when you go in, there's literally videos showing you how to do this. Okay? I just want you to understand what's possible because it's pretty cool. So once you've created the workflow, so I did this yesterday. So I said, okay, any video that was in my Facebook group, I want it to put it into YouTube. Okay. So any video that I've done in my Facebook group, for as long as the Facebook group has been open, it will upload to YouTube. Okay. You can tell it to do it manually. You can tell it to do it. There's a whole bunch of things that will go in here. So if you're like you're really fancy on YouTube, you can change the style. You can do a caption. If you have captions, you can put those in. Like there's all of these choices if you want to get that fancy and you do all this stuff on your YouTube channel. Okay. If not, you just let it be. It's no big deal. Okay. And then you can go here. So I can go to view videos and it will show you all of the videos. So what I want you guys to think about is how many videos have you already done on your personal page or inside of your group that it would be super nice if they were on YouTube, right? So what I want you guys to start to think about is that with this stuff, we're going to be able to cast a broader net, right? So instead of like, okay, we're only on one place, which I like, and I want you guys to be focused there. But what if it was other places? How is that going to broaden your net, right? So that's really what I want you guys to think about. And if you have a great training video and you want to use that as one of your like giveaways, and you're like, oh, here's the YouTube link, right? And you just know that every video you've ever done is on YouTube, you go grab the link and you send it to somebody, right? Like it just makes life easy. Okay. So if you look at this, so now yesterday, I just did these all yesterday, to be honest. It uploaded all of these videos. Okay. I just set it to go. I walked away and I came back and they were all there, right? I came back this morning and all of them were uploaded. Okay. So now you can set it. So anytime you go live, it will just automatically upload it to YouTube. Okay. Or you can set it to manual if you want to do it specifically. But if you want to set it to auto, anytime you do a video in your Facebook group, it's going to automatically upload it to YouTube. Okay. How's that feel for everybody? Good. Kind of cool. Okay. All right. So if you go back, so again, now you can connect any of them that make sense to you. So most of my content starts on YouTube. Okay. I don't, sometimes I just make random videos, but mostly I start on YouTube. I start on Facebook and then I want it to go other places. Okay. It doesn't have a connection yet for Instagram, unfortunately. But then you can go back. Oops. Yep. So go back to connections. No, not connection, to workflows. And then I did one from Zoom. Okay. So everything that I have saved in my Zoom also got uploaded to YouTube. So we talked about membership sites last week. So if you're doing them in Zoom, right, and then they're automatically getting most membership site platforms, probably all, you need to house it somewhere, right? So you need to house it on YouTube so that you can take that link and share it. And if any of this doesn't make sense, just stop me as we go. Okay. But like for the membership site that you guys have access to for ClickFunnels, it needs to be on YouTube. It's unpublished, but there's a link that then gets posted in the back end of the hosting software. Okay. So it has to be housed somewhere, whether it's Vimeo or YouTube or wherever you want to put it. If you're going to be on here, I'd put it on YouTube because then you can connect it. Okay. So then there were some Zoom videos, some Q&As and stuff that I hadn't uploaded yet. So now they'll be in the membership site. They all got uploaded automatically. So today's video, when I get done and I hit end, it's going to automatically upload it to YouTube. So that's a big step that now I don't have to go get it. I don't have to upload it. I don't know about you, but when I try to upload videos to YouTube, I swear to God, it takes 15 days and I just sit there and like watch it load. And then my computer does something silly or my phone does. So it takes way less time, right? So it'll automatically upload. So everything that was in Zoom now is uploaded. And then I can just go in and click, private, public, whatever. I can rename it, but it's all there. And so once you get everything caught up, if you choose to do this, then every week, if you do the same things, you just know they're going to be there. They're going to be on YouTube. You're going to have access. It takes out a ton of steps of where you need to put your other stuff to try to get things out of it. Okay. So Zoom to YouTube, Facebook to YouTube, and then my Facebook group. So I also uploaded so like for my old profile, when I get it back, this will be kind of fun because you can go view the videos from forever and then upload any of them. Okay. Does this kind of make sense? Sort of. You all don't really look necessarily excited. Yeah, we got a thumbs up from Amanda. Sally's like taking deep breaths. Jen's like, I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to stop the share because I just wanted you guys to see this, but then I really want to talk about what we can do with this. And I want you to start like just contemplating bigger things out of what this can do. Okay, everybody cool with that? Okay, I'm going to stop the share. Okay, so what I want you guys to think about now, really close to computer, sorry, is you've all been creating content for a while, a year, 2 years, 10 years, right? You have a ton of content. Have you ever thought about this? Like Brandon and I used to talk about this all the time. I'm like, the amount of free training we've done inside of Facebook videos is ridiculous, but it's not in a place where I feel like I could go back and use it for anything. I have any logical manner to get it anywhere, to turn it into something, or to do anything with it, right? I get a lot of yeses. So with repurpose, you guys, think about this. If you pay $100 for the advanced video or the advanced part, say you have trainings, right? Or you have lives that you've done or whatever, you can now get it to YouTube. If you pay the $100, it's going to pull off the transcriptions, right? I'll teach you this, so don't freak out. Has anybody ever used Zapier? Amanda, you've probably done all of this stuff, right? Kind of.
What is Zapier again?
So it just zaps things. So it's like, when this happens in this program, put it in that program.
Oh yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
Okay. So, and I'll walk you guys through this. Like I said, it's not overly technical. And if need be, we can find someone that can just do this stuff for us, right? It's either learning how to do it or spending the money, but it's worth it. So if you're like, okay, I uploaded it to repurpose. Now I have all the video. I have all of the audio. So if you want to start a podcast, how much stuff have you taught that you could turn into like 15 minutes of, 15 minutes of freedom, right? Like you could make a super simple podcast, raw and real coaching with Jen, like whatever you want it to be. It could be like, hey, these are my like super short podcast episodes, and turn those into podcasts, right? Because you can take it from a video file and turn it into an audio to upload it, right? So repurpose started as actually a podcast software, and then they expanded. Okay, so think about all the stuff you have, whether it's inside your group, on your personal page, whatever you've recorded, that there's just all this knowledge and all of this stuff that's just sitting there. Okay, so you get the text out of it, and then you have a couple options. Okay, so this is where it gets fun. Don't let this overwhelm you. You can take the text, if you're like me, sitting down and reading my own the words from my training. I do not want to do. I'll be 100% honest. I do not want to do that. Okay, so then we get a VA. You get a VA that is fairly fluent in English. You send it to them, and you're like, clean this up and make it sound good, right? Take out my ums and my rights and my all the things. Clean this up and make it sound good. Send it back to me, and then you may need someone that's a little more English based to read it again, or maybe at that point you can read it. Right? For me, I'm like, I'm gonna send it to my mom because she was an English teacher and she loves to read things. I can hire my mom to read for all of us, probably. She's very bored right now. I'll be like, Mom, guess what? You got an editing job. She might actually like that because, it's COVID still. So, but then you get either yourself to read it. And again, if somebody cleaned it up and made it pretty legible, then I could go in and be like, oh, that's a great chunk. That should be a post. I could take little bits of that. Think about this, you guys. If you have a 5-minute training, you could probably create 7 different posts out of it. If you have a 30-minute training, you could create endless amounts, right? And just go pull out the good pieces. The other thing you can start to think about is like, how could I compile these things? Don't get overwhelmed right now. I just want you to like see the big vision. These don't happen right now. But like, what if you did those 12 things, or you had 12 trainings that went in pretty good order, and you could turn that into a book, and you could become an Amazon bestseller. And I'll teach you how to do that as well. Like an Amazon bestseller. And then the next time someone wants to coach with you, like you're like, oh, let me send you a free copy of my book. And you just amplified your authority by having the screenshot that you were an Amazon #1 bestseller. Okay. From content that you already have, or that you're about to create anyway. Okay. So what I want you guys to see is that we're all doing a lot of work that's going one place. We're not using our resources to to get that stuff to other places. Okay, even if it's not the perfect form, if you are in more places and it takes you less work or the same amount of work, it makes sense to have a broader base and to hit different people and to hit some of them with audio and some of them with video and some of them with writing to whatever lands with that person. Okay, so you could take all of that data and do 12 million different things with it, right? You may never have to coach again because you probably have 10 years of posts in all of the stuff that you've done, right? Even in your coaching, right? Like you wouldn't want to say, okay, my paid clients, like I wouldn't take this whole training and ever upload it for free to somewhere because that wouldn't make sense. But I could take a snippet out of this, right? I could take a 1-minute clip and post it on Instagram, or a 2-minute clip and post it on Facebook, or just take the audio, or just take the words, right? Like you guys already have so much content that if we can just learn to make it work for us easier, it's going to feel a lot better. Okay? Yes? Okay, let's stop for a second. Questions, thoughts, gut feeling, fear. Tell me what's coming up right now. Freedom.
Only because I'm piecing this together, but I'm thinking you're going off of content, and since I'm behind in what everybody else has done, can I just start posting things on content rather than like trying to build my people and trying to do all the other things? Like if there's enough content and just like an engagement post every day of like, here's a health tip, blah, 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 blah. Or is that going to be too random for me to be doing for people of like, oh, great, well, here she has it out of nowhere. Here's a 10-minute,
you're going to come out of nowhere no matter what, and nobody cares. Because sometimes people are like, oh, I just don't see her stuff, right? Like they don't know if you came out of nowhere or not. So yes, Court. So now that you have time, I would be doing your engagement post and then just posting something every day. So what we are talking about is there's a program called Repurpose, where like you could do a video or do a Facebook Live, and then you can push it to YouTube. You can push it, you can take Zoom stuff. So you can push everything to another platform. And I'll post recordings so you can go back and watch the demo, but you can push stuff to other platforms and then you can pull the text out and then use it for other things. So what we're trying to understand is being more efficient with what we're doing, not just doing more, right? Not just being like, I have to be all the places, but I already took 10 minutes to create this video. How do I make this video turn into, 32 different points of contact or of content for me, where it's just in different places, right? And again, you guys, if you have a blog, if you have a website, we were talking about, if you're going to have a blog, you're going to have a website, right? Even if you have all of that stuff now, and then you just start to put it in there, it's going to amplify your authority. You don't have to recreate the wheel and recreate the stuff that you've probably already done somewhere in your life, or that you're gonna, right? For you, Court, even if it's just now you're starting to create that stuff, that's fine, because it already gets to work for you, versus having to go back and be like, oh, what did I coach on a year ago? What would, like, I know we've all done trainings or videos where like, wow, that was really good. I should use that for something. And then we still haven't used it for anything, right? So just think about how many places, and then again, think about where you would want it to go as we start to get into this stuff. Again, believing that it's not going to take more energy to get all of it there, okay? Is anybody excited about taking all of their videos and having them on YouTube? No? Jen's like, no? Sally, Amanda, nobody?
I think a lot of mine are already on YouTube. I'm trying to think. First of all, I need to probably do more videos, to be honest.
Okay.
But a lot of my stuff is on YouTube, but it would be very handy to just have it shuffled over there without me having to keep refreshing the screen so it can process and all that crap.
Yeah.
Are you talking about a YouTube channel as well, Courtney, or just posting it on YouTube?
On a YouTube channel, which is super simple. Just like, you just basically go over, start a YouTube channel, and then you just start putting content there. And for most people, like, unless you really want to be a YouTube star, it's just a place to house your videos. And unless you send somebody the specific link, they're probably not going to stumble upon it. I mean, maybe they do, but
yeah, you can make it unlisted and then people can only see it if you send it.
Right. Yeah. You can have public stuff. I have stuff like, obviously all of our videos are unlisted, but I have public stuff where, if somebody stumbled upon me and then they wanted to binge watch all the videos that I've done, cool, right? But I'm not currently using YouTube as an actual like marketing source. I know there's ways to do that. That's not where I am right now. But I think having the videos somewhere that isn't just Facebook is really beneficial. And again, having the text from it. So if you don't want to, so here's the other step. If you want to have the text, okay. If you do video, and if you don't, like Sally said, I think you should probably do a little bit more because there's something more human about video. But if you guys want the text off your video, you can always just play it, record it on otter.io, and get the text that way. And then again, edit it yourself, send it to a VA to edit, whatever you want to do with that, so that you can make that happen. Does that make sense? Or if you just prefer to talk and you don't ever want to type another post again because you would rather talk, you can just record it on Otter and put it wherever you want to put it, or record it on Zoom, or like, what I'm trying to get you guys to understand is be more efficient, right? You may not love talking and you might like typing, and that's okay. But as we start to become more efficient, I don't care if you're the world's best typer, you can talk faster than you can type. True or not true? Okay. Maybe you don't want to. It's funny, I was doing one yesterday, and so I was like purposely pausing, and I was like, why am I caring about intonation? This is not going to matter. Because it was for a written post, but it sort of made me chuckle. But you can screw up, you can erase it, you can do all the things, but if you talk it, we are coaches, we talk for a living, right? If you talk, your posts are going to sound more like you than maybe if you write it, because we probably all write a little bit different than we talk. So if you talk it out, it's going to sound more like you and probably have more of your personality. And it's just way faster than having to type it and edit it and do all the things. Okay.
What's the time frame for talking? I mean, because I've seen little short videos and stuff, and I have a bit of a confusion. I'm like, if I'm still supposed to develop a class for the 6 weeks as well as you're talking engaging every day on some, yeah.
I mean, this is really just for content creation and trying to make yourself more productive, and just to get some of your time back. So this is all just core on the marketing and the engagement side of getting people into your ecosystem and getting them closer to you. Just for the stuff that you do daily and weekly, not necessarily for creating your class. But again, if you do a Zoom and then you have Otter or someone else transcribe it for you, and you can give your students or your clients the transcription of the video, a lot of people like that as well. So it could be used for that. But if you do a Zoom class, it can instantly upload it to YouTube so that you can put it wherever you want to put it. Even if you're just emailing it to them in the beginning and like, here's the recording, it's already uploaded. It's one less thing that you have to do. And I know for me, like, I've uploaded a fair amount of videos to YouTube, and it was always a giant pain in the ass, in my opinion. It took way more time than it should take. It was never easy, at least on my end. And for me, if I was doing it on my phone, because I don't have a Mac, so my computer and my phone don't talk. So I couldn't get it from my phone to my computer with any logical or fast way. So then I had to do it on my phone. It would refresh, the screen would go. I mean, like, someone would call. I mean, like, it took an incredible amount of energy to get one simple video just on YouTube. So if you haven't had that struggle, I'm glad. But if you have, my opinion is you should be pretty excited about this, because like I had uploaded like 40 videos yesterday and I did nothing. Like, I pushed yes and I walked away and I came back and I was like, this is amazing. So it's kind of like magic. Okay. So personally, I think it's a big deal. That's my opinion. That's part of why. Okay.
So what's the point of having the transcription? Like, is it for us to have, am I making a bigger deal out of, like, I don't understand.
So do you believe that in trainings or videos you have done before, or in trainings or videos that you're going to do, that there are probably really good snippets that you could pull out of there and turn into a post?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Or
so that's the purpose, or is it for the audience, like to have something?
Could be, no, I mean, it could be both, but mostly that's for you to get the text and go, okay, instead of feeling like I have to sit down and start another, like I have to come up with another idea, you can go look at all the stuff you've already said and be like, oh, that was really good. I'm going to repost that. Right? Because again, if we're talking about the same 9 things over and over again, you probably have a whole library of stuff that you could just go pull out snippets from and share instead of recreate. Like, what I want you guys to understand is repurposing our content, not just recreating it, right? Use what you've already created, what you've done in trainings, what you like, all of that stuff you can just turn into different snippets, different posts, different trainings, different PDFs, right? You can put all of that stuff into somewhere that you can use it to get people to take a step closer and to just understand your message. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So do you know if the transcription on repurpose, does it come to you in a PDF or is it a text file?
I'm sure it's a text file.
Okay.
I would assume. I'm sure. I doubt they're making PDFs. I'm sure it would be a text file. I don't know, but I can find out. But I think it's probably a text file.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, just because I think that's how most of that stuff comes. But again, right? And then again, for you guys, you can think about just, we should all go through. We'll do this maybe Friday. Maybe we'll do it on Ask Me Anything on Friday. But if you haven't watched the Create Time video, or if you watched it and you didn't actually take the time to make the list, or even just look at the examples I put in there of all of the things that you are doing or should be doing inside of your business every week, and then looking of what of those things can you automate, delegate, or prioritize, optimize, delegate, right, or automate. The sooner you guys can start to see the value in this and start to actually do it, you will create more time in your life. I went down this road with the gym where nothing was automated, nothing was delegated. Like, I did all of it and it was terrible, right? And I fought technology because I just didn't want to learn it. And then as I started to learn it and I started to delegate, I was like, oh, this is really fantastic. Why did I fight this so much? And again, if a VA costs you 10 or like $5 or $10, an hour, but you could hire them next week for 10 hours, whatever it is, like whatever your budget is, and they could go through all of the training you have so that you have this book of content you've already created, and then you just get to go in and pick and choose. That is going to save you so much time, and it's going to make sure that you're actually consistent with your message, right? Do we see the value in that? And this is just a side note on the confidence side of life. You're probably going to read your stuff and you're going to, like, if you ever go back and watch your own stuff, I don't know whether you guys do or not, but you're probably going to read your stuff and be like, damn, that's really good, right? Like, to Court's point earlier, I don't know if I'm supposed to coach. Like, well, I'm really good at this. Listen to what I've done, right? And so, Court, even for you, like, had you recorded that training that you did, like, had you recorded that, you could have taken, did you record it?
The ones I've done for the city are recorded and I could get them. The big one that I did for the organization recently, that was not recorded. So my bad.
Right. But from now on, if you record something, you can go back, you can take little tiny pieces of each of those, right? And pull it out and make it a mini training, make it a free, like, make it something you can send people, like, oh, I have a little training on that, or it's a 1 minute clip on Facebook, or it's a part of your story, or like, we all have so much stuff that we've done that we don't probably give ourselves credit for, that if we could just get that stuff and turn it into shorter videos or into written posts, we have a ton of content. We don't have to bang our head against the wall and be like, what am I going to post about today? I don't know. All of the time. And so if we know that we have a genius model and we talk about these same 9 things, all of your training should somehow relate to one of those 9 things. You just pull them out and you plug them into your content model and you're like, I got 6 months of content and I don't have to do anything. Yes. Y'all look still a little bit like you don't believe me. I can't see Erin's face. She might be over there doing like jumping jacks, like, this is the best thing ever. That's what I'm pretending, Erin. That's what you're doing. Anybody else want to do that with me? All right, it's been a long day, you guys.
So where would you at this point, where most of us are, suggest, like, if we do a Facebook video, where would you suggest other places to put it if it doesn't go to Instagram?
Erin is excited. So I would put it on YouTube first, right? Because if it's on YouTube, then it's shareable. I believe you can also, we'd have to test the algorithm on this one, but you could also take it, if you did it inside of your group, you could take it outside of your group. You could take it and put it in Dropbox. Right. I personally think if everything's on YouTube, then if you need it, you can always go find it. Or, and or put it in your Dropbox so you have the raw files if you ever want to go edit them. But if you put it on repurpose and it gets to somewhere other than Facebook, right? And again, here's the thing. All those videos that are on my old profile, I now no longer have access to because they were on Facebook. Somewhere on my phone, most of them are probably there. But had they all been on YouTube, then I would still have ownership of them, right? And so that's some of it too, of making sure that you don't lose all of your content because you get locked out of your Facebook account.
Do people put videos and stuff on LinkedIn, or is that not a thing? I'm still not quite sure what you do on LinkedIn.
They do, but not as much. But you could, again, you could take some of the text or some of the, small clips of audio out and put it on LinkedIn. I don't think that most of the videos on LinkedIn aren't very long and they're very direct and to the point. But having the audio out of them, I think is beneficial.
As far as the LinkedIn, is that another venue for some other reason? I don't know why intuitively that I'm like, I want to dive into LinkedIn. So I don't know if that's just a basic profile or I don't know why in this moment, but I'm like, this has my attention. And even before Sally said it, like, is LinkedIn an option? Because maybe that's the route I want to go.
It is. It totally is. And yes, we've been talking about LinkedIn a little bit the last few weeks of just different audience and maybe different messaging as far as finding clients that can afford what we do. I think LinkedIn is a great resource for that. We can do some LinkedIn training. I think having a very basic profile is a great start. Like, we can kind of go over the basics of that, of just making sure you have a professional picture, making sure it's clear what you do, where you are, fill in the info. It'll walk you through how to set up your profile. And we'll do it. I'll do a training on this in the next couple of weeks, but like let it walk you through it. The biggest thing that you want to do on LinkedIn is it asks you all the questions. Tell us about yourself. Don't talk about yourself. Talk about the outcome you get for clients and who you help, right? And on LinkedIn, I would shift your I help statement from I help to helping, right? Probably everywhere we could all do this and we would see an increase. People don't care about you. They care about them and where, like, what's going to happen for them, right? So if you're helping, fire departments, whatever that is, like, just make it clear who you help and what you do for them in the beginning. But for LinkedIn is a great place. And if you have, there's a program called Sales Navigator, where you can actually go in and search specific regions, jobs, what position they have. You can find all of that stuff and you can connect with those people. LinkedIn's a little bit different because you have to have like a mutual connection for most of those people, but you can get in connection with those people and then start to get to know them that way. And for a lot of like CEOs, higher up people, they're not spending much time on Facebook. They're on LinkedIn. And I think that's totally fine, right? The only thing I believe that Facebook has the power to do, depending on your audience, is the group, right? Like, that's really, really, really the only reason that I think Facebook has, I don't want to say like is the winner, but the fact that you can group people and know that they've raised their hand and said, I kind of want to know more about what you do, or at least like you to some degree, and I want to be in your group. That's harder anywhere else, right? But it doesn't mean you can't find somebody on LinkedIn and go see if they're on Facebook. And if they are, you could put them in your group. Or if you want to be on Instagram, find them, put them in your group, right? Like, there's lots of avenues. I just think on an organic marketing strategy, especially if you're going to build a group program, and if you're not going to build a group program, and you're going to go a different direction, we can totally talk about that. Then maybe a group isn't as big of a deal, right? So, Court, we need to get on the phone. Let's figure out a time next week so we can kind of figure out where you want to go now that you have a little more time. Okay. But yes to LinkedIn. I believe it's somewhere we should all be.
Okay. And then like with that, I'm curious, do I say like firefighter, paramedic, functional health coach, medicine extraordinaire? Like what, how many, blah, 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 keep going, you know,
Yes,
because I'm like,
all of the
yoga
things.
instructor, blah, 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 blah. Like,
Yeah, I
it's
would
amazing.
put, you know, the thing that you want people to know you for, right? I think for you, having the background about being a firefighter for, you know, however many years it's been,
Yeah.
is important. But then if you really want to be known for health coach, wellness coach, whatever you want to call yourself, I would put that on there.
Okay.
Right. And if you're still thinking that maybe it is working with departments, or maybe it is working with companies, right? Like, we can tweak what that says, so that the right people would find you if they search for you.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me read the chat. Other questions. So Erin is excited, just driving and thinking. Anybody else? Jen, tell me why you're not excited about this.
It's just not something that's in my budget right now. Not that like I'm not excited, because I have a lot of content. I literally posted on a daily basis last year. So there's a lot of information there, plus the videos, but like I do everything on Instagram.
Does it send it to Facebook too, or no?
Yeah, I send it to Facebook.
So as long as it's a video on your Facebook profile, you could still upload it.
Okay.
And I'm just going to throw this out there. I believe this is a true statement. You could probably pay for 30 days of repurpose and get everything uploaded. Like, you don't have to pay for it for a year. And if it's not something that's in your budget right now, if you can swing the $25 and not worry about the transcription and just get Otter and transcribe it that way, like, get them all uploaded. So at least they're there, right? Because for a lot of us too, we have people that need something that we have, that if you could just send them a YouTube link, and that could be one of your free giveaways, right? So if you could at least get them all uploaded and only pay for a month, they're going to be on YouTube, and they're going to be yours, and they're all going to be there. My opinion, if you can swing the $25, tell your husband, your mom, someone that for your birthday you want to upload your videos to YouTube. Hey, it's my birthday.
That won't happen for a couple months. So,
well, it's still good to know what's out there, right?
You may want to wait a couple months until you kind of redefine or define what it is that you want to say on the regular anyway, because I think you and I have both kind of been like all over the place with
yeah, for sure.
So maybe you just hit it hard this month and or the next couple months, and really stick to your genius model, and then you can do this down the road, right?
Yep. I agree. And again, you guys, this isn't stuff that's like you have to right now. I want you guys to start to see, as you get busier and as you're still juggling jobs and life and kids and work and business, that like there are tools that can free up a ton of your time when they fit into your life. Okay. Other questions? Okay, so I'm going to drop a teaser here. It's not meant to be a teaser, but there's a program that I am looking at that I'm doing a trial for right now, that if it appears to do all of the things that it says it does, it is going to be probably the coolest thing I've found so far. So it is a program that we could all build our lead magnets and our funnels in. It's going to do email automation. It's going to do CRM, so client management. It will do text messaging. It will do phone calls. It has all of these triggers and all of this back end stuff. It has artificial intelligence. If client says XYZ, then it does this, then it does that, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's cool. It's a lot of stuff that I walked through hours and hours and hours of videos to try to like understand. So my thought for right now, you guys, is that a lot of us don't have all of our stuff connected. And so this came to me in an email from a gal I never read email from, but I decided to read it. So I believe that was the universe telling us we should read it. Before we all go like build all these, Because there's ways you can make all this happen. You can have 15 different programs and then plug them all in and make them work, but it's very complicated in my opinion, which is part of why I haven't done it. But with this one, it appears that it's like 90% of it is there. Okay. So I'm doing the free trial right now. It has pre-built automations, right? So there was one that I'm going to use for the CrossFit, like there was a CrossFit automation. So it's like, here's all the things. If customer does this, it triggers that. And then it puts all the messages. This is really cool. It puts all the messages. If somebody texts you, if they messenger you, or if they email you, it puts it all in one feed where you can see it everywhere. Like, it's just, I mean, I'm 2 days into messing around with it, and it's probably like a full week of training, but it looks really cool. Okay. So it has one built for coaching. Like, it looks pretty fantastic. The other side of that is that if you guys don't want to do it yourself and there is interest, I will hire someone and you can pay me to do it for you, because I'll have it all built, right? So there's a way that, like, I could be an agency, might have another business, but if I get it all set up and it makes sense and it's cheaper for you guys to pay me and me to pay somebody to do it, because I'm not gonna be the one doing it, we can do that too. So if you're like, I don't want to, if you're like Sally, I don't want to do technology, I don't want to do any of this, just please do it for me. I'm trying to figure out if this is actually going to work. And if that's the case, then we can take this off of a lot of your plates for probably not, maybe 100, 150 bucks a month. I don't know yet, but it's not going to be like crazy expensive to have all of those things done where you don't have to pay for all of the things and you don't have to set it up. So my goal is to mess around with it for the next week or two, and then I'll let you guys know. But from everything I know so far, it's pretty cool. Like, it texted me the other day and it was like, do you want to book an appointment? And it was like, it just tells you, say something positive. Sure, yes, whatever. And then it's like, great. And it's, oh, and it'll do your calendar link too. So to push your calendar, it texted me the calendar link, and then sent me another message, which was all artificial intelligence. And I was like, that's pretty fun. So anyway, so that's my teaser of the week. But if that works, I believe it's going to make all of our lives feel much less heavy and free us up to do more coaching and less tech or manual labor. Okay, that feel good? Okay, any other questions, comments, concerns? Doesn't have to do with this, just anything in general. What do you think? So the outcome she desires is what?
Freedom, empowerment, and confidence. Just off the top of my head. I don't have my genius model.
I'm gonna let anyone else go first. I have a couple thoughts, but I want to hear what anyone else has to say if you guys have any ideas. Okay, I'll go. So I think, to me, you want to make it a place where people desire to come and hang out with other women that feel the same way, right?
Yeah.
So it could be, and you'll have to, the hard thing is you're just going to have to look at the group names, but it could be confident and empowered women, confident and free women, free empowered women, right? Like something like that, where it just lists those emotions or those feelings or those outcomes. And then, female society, women's, don't say sport, women's, whatever, like essentially what's the outcome they want to feel? Who are they, right? Positive women, confident women, lost women. Just kidding. Kidding. Or women now, stuck women that don't want to be stuck, right? That's what we really want to say, right? Stuck women that don't want to be stuck. But so like, what do they desire to be? And then, like, would they describe themselves that way, or do they want to describe themselves that way? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's good. I also thought about saying, like, having a colon and being like, okay, this is now like a descriptor of what I can provide.
Yeah. And I don't know that matters so much in the name, but you can put that inside of the description.
Yeah.
Because most people are just going to see the name and be like, oh, right, like I want to be an invincible entrepreneur, right? Or they're going to search entrepreneur and then it's going to show up. Apparently,
Yeah.
I've actually had someone in come to my group that said they searched it, and I was like, it's working. One out of 600, you guys, but it's working. But so, I mean, if they're searching like confidence or empowered or free, right? Like then those groups are going to show up. I would go look at what else is out there and what groups have a lot of people that have those words in them. And see if you want something close or something a little bit different, and maybe even see what the vibe of those tribes are like, because Facebook will most likely show the same people, like those words to the same types of people.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
What, Courtney, you can shoot this down, but what if you did like women building confidence or women finding empowerment or something like that, that says that they're not quite there yet?
Yeah.
I feel like if someone is feeling really not confident, they're not going to search a group of confident women because that would be intimidating.
Yeah, they don't know yet.
True. So maybe confident is the word. So to me, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but if I'm in a place in life where I'm like, I just want more confidence, right? Like, I don't want to go hang out with the women that are up here that like shoot me down, but like we were in 7th grade and they were just like the jerks because they were too confident. But to me, like, if I saw a group that said confident women and I wasn't feeling super confident, I'd be like, okay, I'm aspiring to be that. So I want to go hang out with women that are like that and see how they are. Right? Like, if you take it other side of this, like if you go search like coaching groups, there's like 6-figure groups, 7-figure groups, whatever. Like, very few people, if you're aspiring to make a lot of money in whatever, like let's just use this as an example. If you're aspiring to make 6 figures in coaching, and I said, well, would you rather make $1 million? You're all going to be like, okay, well, yeah, I would rather make $1 million, right? So would you rather be in a 6-figure, coaching club, or would you rather be in a 7-figure coaching club? To me, I want to go hang out with the 7-figure earners because they've got something figured out that I don't quite know yet, which I feel like confidence. I feel like that one could go either way. But again, if the struggle Amanda had before with the people that were in her group before was that they wanted to stay stuck. Mm-hmm. If someone aspires to be confident and they decide to go hang out with confident people, they're probably in that space where they already want to take action. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And you can always change it, but and maybe it's not confident, maybe it's empowered, maybe it's free.
Yeah, those are just off the top of my head.
Right. Yeah. The confident minded woman. I like that. I don't know. Amanda, how does minded feel to you? Does it feel too heady?
Yeah, it feels a little heady.
But I would go down that path and just Google some groups. And I definitely wouldn't get set on a group until you've don't Google it, but go into Facebook. Don't get super set on a group name, because then you're going to go look for it and it's going to be taken.
Yeah.
So go do some research with those words and really just think about what outcome does she desire that she's aspiring to be.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Kind of look at the groups that I'm in and see what language they're using, and then maybe pull from that.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Nobody? Jen, go ahead.
So speaking of Facebook groups, like, I feel like going back to my original name that I had, which was the Free Spirited Woman. Just because like talking about business does not feel me.
So go back.
Right? Like as much as like I know it inside and out, I'm still not doing certain things because there's a level of embodiment that I haven't gotten to yet in order to go do the things.
Right.
And just kind of looking over some of the things that the women have joined in. Like, you know, I did that training back in August around, you know, my group was supposed to be called Unleash Your Inner Badass, which was all about the triad. And after I did that training inside my Facebook group, like my friend invited 60 other women. Like she found value in that. She's not an entrepreneur, and the majority of those women aren't either. And then same when I did a meditation a few weeks ago, like this lady was like, how often do you do these? I'm like, every single Sunday. She invited like 50 other women into my group. So it's like,
That's awesome.
And that's what like fuels me too, is it's really talking about the embodiment, the practices, the rituals. That's what's going to help you in your business. Like that's the foundational piece. That's going to help you with your, I always do air quotes, manifestations. But it's, yeah. So, but I like the rule breaker because it's, you know, it's fun. And that's the name of my podcast whenever it launches is the rule breaker. At the same time, like if I look at myself and this woman and the obstacle, it's all about, she just wants happiness. Like she just wants to be free. She just wants to like find happiness. And for me and my story, like spending 10 years reading personal development books, I felt more broken.
Well, then I think go back to that, right? Like, I mean, because here's the thing, right? You guys, we're going to learn and we're going to shift and we're going to go back. Like, that's the thing. I think if you had a program that already had 60 women in it and you were already down this path and you're like, okay, I'm at that point, pivoting is a little bit harder. But, you know, if you tried on the business thing for a little while and you're like, God, it really doesn't feel me, right? For any of you guys, if you feel like you have to do it or you have to do the post or like, I don't want to talk about this today, you're not coaching on the right thing, right?
Right.
And so if that's what's getting your audience to get excited and it draws you, then go back to that woman and just make sure you're super clear on, okay, if she wants to feel happy, what are the 3 things in her life? What are her 3 pain points that make her not feel happy right now? Or what are the 3 things she would need to have to feel happiness? And talk about those things and help her through those things.
Mm-hmm. Jen,
Yeah,
how did it feel to ask those 2 women who invited people to your group, like where they are and what it would take to make them happier? Because that would probably be gold.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just funny because like the things that I'm not like selling, that I'm not offering is how people are finding me.
So I mean,
like I can sit and regurgitate every single sales training and marketing training, but like you can Google that shit.
I would ask those 2 women what they saw in your content that drew them to you.
Yeah, for sure. I can do that. But yeah, like you can't Google how to feel a certain way. Like you can't, like you just can't, you can't read it in a book. And like someone messaged me and she was like, what books, personal development books do you suggest? And I'm like, none.
Yeah. Well, and again, like that's a feeling you can't
teach it.
No, and that's something you should talk about, right? Of I really wanted to do this, or I thought I did, but it turns out that my heart is really in helping people that were, I mean, we talked about this Friday of like people that were where I was and I felt broken and I read all the books and that's your content.
Yeah. And just like, and I even talked to Crystal the other day and just asking her like, hey, do you feel like it's easier for you to market your coaching because you have the breath work? And she's like, yes, because that's something she can lead with. And so I kept thinking like, well, what's my thing? And I keep obviously coming back to the meditation because I learned how to do that in school for massage.
Right.
Like I learned about all of this stuff 20 years ago that now is like I want to learn how to meditate. And like, okay.
Well, does it,
It's funny that like now people are like, oh, so meditation is a thing. And then,
but does it, does it inspire you to teach them? Or, I mean, is that something you want to teach?
yeah. Yeah. Because like for me, it's like, okay, so what was the why I did this? Like I learned about stuff, like more stuff that I can possibly think of in school for massage, but it kept coming up. And then doing, you know, the HFH training and my yoga teacher training, and then just looking back at like reading all those personal development books, I needed something to get through my day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
So that's your, I mean, that's your story, right?
yeah,
And I think
me grounding and centering myself before I started my day, like it was essential.
yeah. Is there resistance right now to going back per se?
Nah, just because I feel like I flip flop every single day.
So I think
It's just
you,
like, I don't know what is going to get women, because I feel like I talk about the same stuff over and over, whether I use, you know, business or entrepreneur, like different wording. The energy is still the same, but like I just can't figure out what the hell is going to sell.
so that's the problem.
Yeah.
What, like you have to just commit to what you want to do 100%. Because I mean, like the very woo-woo side of this is energetically, the universe is like, if she doesn't know what she wants, I'm not going to bring her the people yet. That's my belief. Like when you get super clear on this is the thing and this is the way and this is why, and like stop figuring out what's going to sell and start figuring out what problem do people need solved? Do you want to solve that problem? Does it excite you to solve that problem? And just fucking go for it.
Yeah.
Then it's going to happen. Right? Like you've got to know that there's a problem that they need to solve, which you do. You've got to know that you can solve it, which you do. And you got to just 100% be like, this is the thing. And not what's going to sell, or because again, just because it hasn't sold to the audience you have doesn't mean that it's not going to sell. It just means that maybe you don't have the right people or the words need to be tweaked a little bit. So I really want you to go, this is what I want to do. This is what lights me up. This is what makes me come alive. These are the women I want to hang out with. And this is what I want to coach them, and just do that thing. And stop thinking about what could sell, might sell, should sell, right? Because we've all done that. Like we've all done the shining object syndrome. Maybe this, maybe that, maybe, you know, I mean, I get that. But I think for you, it's just like wholeheartedly committing and just believing that what you want to do solves a big enough problem that people, when the right people hear about it, they will take action.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And so, yeah, just coming back to that thing of like, what do we want to be known for?
Right.
And that's what it is. It's like really centering yourself. Coming, like, we already know all the answers are within us, but if you have all of these layers and shit, you're blocking yourself.
Right.
That, and like I'm trying to stay off of social as much as possible, because it's just jacking with my nervous system. And so like you're talking about the repurpose thing, it's like, how can I get off of social, create my own community in a different app and have all those videos for like one hub for all these women to go to. You know, I have 3 months worth of meditations in my Facebook group that like,
yeah,
that could be packaged.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, again, like if you can figure out a way to get them onto YouTube and into Dropbox, right? Like now you can put that somewhere, anywhere, right? Like I know we talked about Teachable and all those other things, like you can get it somewhere and then it's something you already have for people, right? So again, for all of us, like sometimes it's not creating more content, it's just being more, it's being more, the word I want to say was responsible, but that's not the right word. Creative with our content, resourceful. That's the word I was looking for, with what you already have. So I would really lean into that. And like, you love meditation, doing that stuff. So do it, right? Maybe it's some yoga and some meditation and some coaching, right? Like combine the things. Where's the gap? What, like people love threes, right? I'm gonna help you learn to meditate, which again, may sound silly to you because you've been meditating forever, but like every single client I've ever had is like, how do I learn to meditate? I'm like, well, it's practice, right? But like, if you had a, hey, learn to meditate thing, whether we believe that's something you can learn or not learn, it doesn't matter. If they think they want to learn it, then teach it, right? And teach them yoga and teach them the connection and teach them all of that stuff that you've done all this work around. And don't worry about the other stuff that you know if it doesn't light you up. Okay, does that feel good?
Yeah. So I have a podcast interview next week.
Yeah.
And her and I had chatted earlier this week just to kind of go over like, what do we want to talk about? And
Yeah.
she was like, can you do a live video on pigeon pose and hip openers and why I hate it and how much like can you talk about the emotional release part? I'm like, yes, I can.
Yeah.
So just being able to like, and that's the thing, like really wanting to combine all of those elements of, this is why we have emotional releases. And then like sprinkle in the coaching. It's like, this is what I walk my clients through.
Totally. Yeah.
Because it all works together. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you have those skills that not a lot of people have. So put that into a package and make that your 3 pillars, right? Physical, emotional, spiritual, like whatever you want it. Like,
yeah.
But I think just package that stuff and own it. Like for all of you guys, right? Your specific gifts and the things you've been through in your life probably should dictate what you're coaching on.
Yeah, so I started working on my brand pillars. So I've got yoga as one, which could be including breath work, the asana and philosophy, and then passion and purpose, which is core values, vision, hobbies, and then the mindset and embodiment, which is, journal prompts, Bitbar, triad, and just like rotating those over and over and over.
I love it. I like it. Okay. Do it. I want to see it. I'm excited. No, I really like that a lot. And you seem much more excited about it.
Now I just have to like inspire myself to do it.
Why are you not inspired?
It's not that I'm not inspired. It's just like, oh, this feels like work. And then, okay, well, what gets me super hyped up? What gets me amped up? Because there's always going to be days where we're like, I just don't fucking feel like doing this shit.
Well, and I think
so I know that like I have a really cool Spotify playlist that I know when I put it on, like the creative juices start flowing. So
yeah, and that's part of why I think everybody should batch their content, because you can get those creative flow and then get a week or 2 weeks of stuff done. I was reading a book last night on consulting, and he was funny because he was like, everybody says, find something you love and you'll never feel like you work another day. And he's like, I'm sorry, but that's just not true. He's like, you might love what you do, but there's going to be parts of it that you don't love. Right. And I think if we all be honest with ourselves of like, it is a job, it's a business, right? And there's going to be times, but like making it, again, this is part of why we're doing all this stuff on productivity, is when you can make it less tedious and time consuming, it's less of that energy you have to create, right, outside of working a regular job to try to do all of the things, right? So I think looking at that is really important of like, can I do a week or 2 weeks in one setting and then just move on? Awesome, ladies. Sally, go ahead.
Can I share something real quick? One of my friends and I have been doing retreats every month, They're like 2 hours, and she's a yoga teacher. It's yoga, meditation, and like we pick a topic, and I do like a 20-minute slide presentation on boundaries or, whatever. I think that would be an awesome place for you to start if you're feeling resistance for like doing a whole program or doing the whole thing. Like if you could just pitch a little event that you could invite people to and show them all the things that you can do, and you did that, a couple times, you could record all of that and have a yoga, a meditation, and a thing that you could use,
Yeah, I did create a program. It's called Mystic Mornings, and it's a 30-minute asana, 30-minute meditation, or 20-minute meditation, and a journal prompt.
Well, but so here's the thing.
Create it.
But so here's the thing, Jen. You're like, I created it and no one came.
Yeah. So
Push it, get people to come, right? Like you're like,
I
but they
have to
didn't
keep
come the
pushing
first
it.
time. Doesn't mean they're not going to come now, right?
Mhm.
And it doesn't mean you can't create something new, and it doesn't mean you can't do something live, right? Like again, for all of you guys, you have stuff that you've created that you can keep in your back pocket, like that can still make you money. It might make you money in 5 years, right? But maybe you do a 2-hour event, and the end of that 2-hour event, you're like, I have this program, right? I mean, like for all of you guys, if you have the stuff, just because it hasn't sold yet, doesn't mean it won't. It's just that we haven't gotten in front of the right people with the right wording.
Yeah.
It sounds like there's chaos on the other side of my door. My dogs are clearly like running up and down. The kids are also
Yeah.
running
So
up and down.
those are the things I don't like doing in my business, is like the webinar turn on event type stuff. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do it.
Well, I'm gonna lovingly say you probably need to, or you're gonna stay where you are. Like I love you, and like there's stuff that none of us want to do, and we have to do it anyway, right?
Yeah, I'm like, I just want to like create stuff. I'm like,
yeah, I just want to put stuff out there and people to buy it. We all do, but that's not unfortunately how it works. Unless you want to pay somebody to do your marketing, right? And I get it, right? Like I'm saying all of this with love.
Yeah.
There are parts that you're going to have to not love to do unless you can pay somebody else to be the face of the business and do it for you. You're just going to have to say, F it, put it on the calendar and get it done, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Amanda and Aaron both did their 5-day, and there was a lot of learning, and there was a lot of parts of it they didn't love, and so much that came out of it that like, that's part of business, right? Like it just is. So we're going to lovingly hold space and make you do it.
Yeah, I just got like super burnt out on launching, because I'm like, I'm launching.
Well, and again, if you're always launching, no one actually believes that you're launching. So like you're not launching, you're doing a special event that's 2 hours. That's not launching.
Right.
And no one, unless they come to the training, is even going to know that you offered your program. Right? I mean, that's the thing. If you're always launching, you're never launching, because it should be a bigger, hi honey, like it should be a bigger deal, and people should know that it doesn't happen as often.
Mhm.
But I get it. But so again, do different things instead of what we had always tried. Is right. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the things you've always done and expecting a different result. Hold on, honey. Want to say hi? Hi.
Hi.
Another birthday party. Oh my goodness. All right, guys. Well, we better jump off. But Jen, I hope that helped. Sally, Amanda, we'll see you guys
Thank you.
soon. And yeah, I love it, Jen. So let's get it done. All right.
Okay.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.